Dr. Swamy, good evening. Thank you for taking the time out, sir. It's always good to have you on the right stand. Sir, today Anuj Dhar, and I know you are very aware of their work in trying to unearth both the mystery. You are one of those advocates who believe that Subhash Chandra Bose did not die in 1945, but you believe that he died or he perished in Russia in captivity where he was tortured. But now today, Anuj and Chandrachud Ghosh and Mission Netaji, this entire team has been able to bring in a forensic expert by the name of, handwriting expert by the name of Kurt Baggett, who is ready to say that Gumnami Baba and Netaji Bose are the same people. So Netaji Bose, under the name of Bhagwanji or other assumed names as a hermit, ascetic, Baba, lived under the eyes of the establishment for 40 years in and around Uttar Pradesh.
Well, it's always good to keep the question of how Subhash Chandra Bose died alive, because there was a massive conspiracy against him, and we'd like to know who the guilty parties were in India who were responsible for finishing him off. Now there have been theories. I may say that my first interest arose because my mother's brother had married a Bengali who was of the Bose family, and there used to be discussions when I was about 13, 14 years old, and that interest survived. And then in 1977, 78, I discovered that the treasure that Subhash Bose had collected in Singapore was actually appropriated by Jawaharlal Nehru, and I got evidence of that. I raised it in Parliament, and if you go to the parliamentary records and the media of that period, there was a lot about it, and Mr. Morarji Desai did finally trace the casket which was brought from Japan to the the National Archives, and found the box empty.
Right.
So that was one that time came, and then this third thing is the fact that the Khosla Commission has an appendix in which a letter written by a person well known as the stenographer of Jawaharlal Nehru in the 1940s, early 1940s, and 1945, 46 also.
Right.
A man called Shamlal Jain from Meerut. He produced from memory a letter which he for which Jawaharlal Nehru had asked him to write a letter to Clement Attlee, in which Jawaharlal Nehru says that the Russians have communicated to him that Subhash Bose is alive and with them, and there were that Stalin has personally asked Jawaharlal Nehru what should be done about it. So he said to Attlee in the letter which this man produced, and that was that Clement Attlee, the government had declared him as a war criminal, so they should take hold of it.
Right.
And finally, when I was a Commerce Minister and Law Minister, the Ashes question came up, and I was asked to give by the Prime Minister an opinion. And after investigating it, I said that the ashes should not be brought back from the Rinpoche temple in things. So I have this background, I have a continuing interest, I read everything that is written about it. But the fact is that today the claim is because of a handwriting expert. But you know, they may say he's world famous and all that, but if you make inquiries and even in Google, you'll find that he lives in Richardson, Texas, and he advertises in the media that he is a handwriting expert. He has no known government, he has not been in the government. And his Twitter following is only 42. He started Twitter, going to Twitter in 2014. So I'm not so sure that that we can conclude on the basis of his letter. And I would certainly think that all this this new book that has come out should be a basis for for our Prime Minister Narendra Modi to have an open commission inquiry
Right.
Because the last one of Mukherjee's commission was actually aborted by the Congress government when they came to power in 2004.
Right.
So you need an open one where everybody can be cross-examined. And but this much is now common, that he didn't die in Taiwan. He went to Moscow. That is also now there's unanimity on that.
Right.
And after that, what happened? That is a question.
Well,
and as far as Gurnami Bama, I have always believed that he was a plant of Jawaharlal Nehru, and there was nothing in that story. That is my opinion.
So,
I have no.
but are you
I have not investigated it.
No, but
if these people prove me wrong, I shall be happy.
So you are saying you're willing to give them a chance if they are putting the effort to and if they're proving you wrong, because we want to clear the mystery around Subhash Chandra Bose. That's the common objective, and perhaps that's where opinions may differ.
Absolutely.
Because I remember, sir, a certain Mr. Muthuramanninga Thevar, whose bust is in Parliament, and courtesy you, you also played a role there.
I put it up in Parliament.
That's what I'm saying, sir.
No, I brought it.
That is exactly what I'm trying to say, Dr. Swamy.
No, not a role. I was the one who did it where everybody failed.
Yeah. Right. So credit to you, sir. I was just saying it in a more humble manner. That's what I was trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is on the 3rd of April 1956, sir, he has said, story of meeting Netaji last February, reported stay now in China. And he said that if the inquiry commission is reconstituted, the government of India would go into the question of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. I am willing to testify. I am willing to provide proof. So even he, 11 years after Netaji's claimed death, was convinced that Netaji was alive, because he says he met him.
He talked about China, only Gurnami Baba talked
Well, of
about
course,
China.
Of course. See, the thing is that even Mahatma Gandhi had said that he's alive and that he'll come one of these days. And he did go to China, and from there, but that time, that part of China was occupied by the Russians. So he went to Dalian, the place called Dalian. I had been to Dalian. And from Saigon, he didn't go to Taiwan at all.
Right.
He bluffed them, and he went straight to Manchuria. And from Manchuria, he crossed across to the Soviet Union. That we know.